Yes, I have a pond, and I have not set up the pond de-icer yet, and I went out there one morning and it was completely frozen over.
Wow.
Now, I knew that the weather was going to be in the 50s later that day, so I wasn't too concerned. But look, anybody who has a pond and they have fish, what they need to do is they have to make sure that they put their pond de-icer in, and it doesn't make it a jacuzzi for fish, okay? It just makes a hole in the ice, because what happens is organic matter. So leaves, plants that have basically went dormant and all their foliage is still in the bottom of the pond. There's, if you don't have a net over it, and even if you do, a lot of debris is going to blow into it. Especially like I have it's awful. I have a willow oak that is about 40 foot tall above my pond. It's mostly shade. And it's horrendous. I have that, and you combine that with a bald cypress that even if I have a net over it, it's not going to stop the bald cypress need. A bald cypress is like a deciduous conifer, tiny little needles that fall off of it. Yeah. Very soft, but it makes a mess, because both of these are full-grown adult trees, so they're big. Yeah. They're big. So what happens with that? And if it gets in your pond, as it decays, it creates carbon dioxide, and it begins to give off gas. That gas doesn't stay in the water. It gets trapped underneath the ice, and it can poison your fish. It can, I have had customers that say, all my fish are dead. And all their fish are dead. Well, do you have a pond? No. A pond de-icer just basically creates a hole in the ice, like a chimney, to let those gases escape. And that is the most important thing. If you do one thing, that's the most important thing for your pond. They're thermostat controls, but still, they shouldn't rest against your liner, because when they heat up, they can melt your liner or possibly damage your liner. So you want to either purchase a guard. There is this, honestly, I think it's overpriced. You purchase a guard that protects it, that gives about 6 inches all around, so that if it floats into your liner, it's not the heating element that's touching the liner. One thing that you can do that probably is easiest is that you basically tether it to a line so that it stays in place across your pond. So that way you're pulling it to the center of the pond and anchoring the ends of the line into the ground, and that way you're not going to have it become dislodged and float away or float into your liner. It's also microbe lift autumn prep, and they also have now with it's called winter prep. It is now a combined product, and what that does is it helps to break down all that organic matter, and it makes it safer and safer for your fish. But again, it's still, you have to do the pond de-icer to get the benefit, because if you have the microbe lift in and it's decaying the pond, but your pond is sealed over with ice, you're still killing your fish. Yeah. So you have to make sure that you have that de-icer in there. Some people will use an aerator. I'm not as big a fan as an aerator, just simply because what it does is it takes the coldest water that's in the bottom of the pond and brings it to the surface, and it basically churns that around, and it makes the pond temperature a lot colder. So, but that's just me. If you have used it with success in the past, continue to use it, because it's better than doing nothing, for sure. Now, autumn prep, again, accelerates the breakdown of the leaves and the sediment and any organic matter in the fall and winter, so it's cleaner in the spring. But you have to consider doing when you do your pond opening, just like a pool opening, you may want to do a complete strip down, transfer the fish into a big Rubbermaid tank, clean out all the debris and everything that's collected on the bottom of your pond. I mean, I'm due for that next spring. I often call, like, our customers will come in, and a pond is a septic tank. Okay, it really is. It's organics fall into the water. They go and they break down, and like just like you have to have your septic tank pumped every once in a while, you have to go and pump the water out, clean out your pond, and then basically you're starting all over. And there's a series of different types of water treatments that you'll want to use then. Something else. You're going to be thrilled that you need to remove your UV. Do not leave your ultraviolet sterilizer in over the winter. There is a delicate quartz sleeve that basically protects the bulb. Okay, so as water passes through it, the actual ultraviolet light will penetrate through the quartz sleeve into the water to do its thing on algae and different types of parasites, things like that. Not necessarily parasites, but a lot of water problems. Like it really, for anybody who's had major issues with algae, that's primarily what they're using it for. But you have to take it out because it will freeze, and that quartz sleeve will freeze and crack, and then basically you have to replace your entire UV. So take it out and make sure that you put it away, and you might as well clean it because you're doing the work of taking it out, and you're going to clean it and scrub it, and then you're going to get it back so that it's nice and clear. But if you have not replaced your UV bulb in 2 years, you need to replace it. The efficiency of the bulb is basically gone. So you need to replace the UV bulb in your UV sterilizer every 2 years in order for it to be working. Because I get a lot of people, well, it's not working. That UV doesn't work. It's like, well, when did you replace your bulb? 5 years ago? It's like, well, there you go. So make sure every 2 years that you're getting it taken care of. And honestly, it's probably too late to install a net to catch the leaves. I mean, it's next year you'll know better, because especially when you're, barefoot and walking in that pond and you're squishing that gook between your toes.
Right.
You'll say, I should have put a net on. But most important is the pond de-icer, and making sure that you've got that chimney so that the gases that are underneath the ice have a place to escape. Julio, you got anything to add?
A lot of people skip that micro lift. Do you recommend?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it takes longer to break down. Mm-hmm. They're sitting there, and basically, once it's broken down, it's not giving off the gases that slowly breaking down leaves and such will. So definitely. And again, that's micro-lift autumn winter prep. And it does work. It works on water temperatures as low as 40. And we haven't gotten there. We're in the 50s right now. So it still will work.
Yeah.
It still will work.
Yeah.